transmissions detected.
Kill them all.
Do you believe in heaven above? Do you believe in love? Don't tell a lie, don't be false or untrue. It all comes back to you.
Hello, my friends. I'll try not to bore you with another science or history lesson, but you know how I have to tell a different version of what's told. Written as truth by early explorers like usual was the way to go, but this was a very deep and weird rabbit hole I went down. A never-ending story, actually. It was like opening up Pandora's box with levels of history I had never seen by just wondering what's up with these holes that's all over the place. And I think it had to do with the destruction of, well, I don't know. We just see it on every continent. I don't know what it is. In the old pictures, we see earthquakes, mud floods, and fires everywhere. The old world had a time that appears to be the aftermath of some sort of war, maybe. Now, there are the ones that were recorded, but far, far back, those cities are laying in ruins, covered by jungles and several feet of vegetation and I guess earth. Something happened. They were covered. Or it's been so long ago that, yeah, that's just what happened. The ground just took it back. First, the Saginaw and Carolina Bays. That's where I began my journey, and that's where I started to smell a rat at. No matter what I was thinking at first, it was in too much disarray. There were too many arguments and theories. No facts because, well, there's an agreement only that there's no evidence but what you see. A hole. Bunch of holes. And it seemed a little bit suspicious to me that they know everything but this. And, well, I'm not saying it's true or anything, it's just weird that there could possibly be so many different explanations for these anomalies, and no one knew exactly. And they actually admitted to it. So I checked out LiDAR imagery, and it took me down another hole, and it shows a world that we don't even know about. Everywhere on this earth there are ruins of these city streets, towns, neighborhoods, runways, whatever they are, but no one knows what happened to these people. No one knows who they were. There's no memory of no one. These areas, when they were inhabited, who, anyone, nothing. They don't even know what caused their destruction. They only have, maybe educated guesses. But wouldn't we see the aftermath if something actually happened? I say maybe, if it was sloppily done. I checked out the Saginaw Bay, or the crater they have there in Michigan. And what it is, to my amazement, nobody knows. Some scientists claim it was remnants of 2 different comet impacts. And I believe that no comet has ever done such a thing, but it's claimed that in Michigan, approximately 786,000 years ago, one hit there, and in Wisconsin, between 24,000 and 40,000 years ago. One or both of them splattered ejected material there and over 1,000 miles away, all the way on the eastern coast of America, making these Carolina Bays, a perfect strip of craters all aligned the same. Now, certain geologists and scientists say these holes show physical fractal distributions. And what that means is something hit these areas. They say pieces of large ice or frozen dirt was to blame. That's why they can't find anything thrown out by the comet strikes. One problem they have here and everywhere else, well, there's no meteors, there's no asteroids, there's no debris, there's no nothing anywhere around them. Is that convenient? I don't know. They say if a celestial object hits, it would show typical ejected landforms. Well, it actually does. It's visualized as pear-shaped, oval, and elliptical formations. Bomb craters seem to be eerily similar to that too. Now, a series of experiments were conducted to demonstrate this physical process of something hitting the Earth, and they did it by impacting balls of plaster, different consistencies, different angles, different speeds. But when they hit it at shallow angles, these balls made holes or craters that were almost identical, if not identical, to these bay-shaped formations. And the Carolina Bays, they're 2 elliptical, circular depressions, and, like I said, all weirdly put, all on the East Coast. It looks funny for natural, doesn't it? And the explanations range from sinkholes, spawning fish, and thousands of meteorites crashing to Earth. And might I say, if that was a spawning fish, what kind of gigantor fish could that be? They say the comet hit Michigan, and it just jumps all over the place. But the scientists agree to one thing, other than they have no idea, but wait for it. They say glaciers waxed and waned in all these regions in North America. And then wind patterns created waves, forming sand deposits around the water's edge, and slowly the bays began to take shape. Bull crap. Here's another weird characteristic of these Carolina bays. Number one, they have the only place where like these weird plants grow. Yeah. Plants that eat meat. Now they're almost always oriented along, or they are all oriented along a northwest to southeast axis, because they can be concentrated so hardcore on the landscape. In the 1950s, that's when they came up with the meteor shower. They didn't come up with that in the 1500s, or there was no records, nothing. Now they say that formed the Carolina bays. And since nothing else fit these explanations and people could prove them wrong, the scientists went to the old parlor trick they have, carbon dating. We just dated everything around it, which is complete proven nonsense, but it doesn't stop there either. The Carolina bays even look like giant cypress tree root areas. And a fun fact for you is guess what tree grows mostly in these bays? Cypress trees. You see, the past is stranger than you think. And in the old books we read that the scientists and geologists in the 1800s claimed that, well, the sedimentary layers show the flood of Noah's day deposited strata that lay north to south on the American continent. Then at a much later date, not so long ago and not as big, the remnants of another or smaller second flood on the northern continent was found depositing layers of strata from west to east. So what happened here? Is there any history written about it? Actually, there was. The Earth got crazy. They claimed that the ocean shelf off the east coast showed where the wave rolled over the continent and dug out deep depressions. Sometime before or after this event, and it's not documented very accurately, but historians like Herodotus wrote, the Atlantic was impassable from Africa to the United States for, well, he said America, for a few years. Then the bottom could not be seen, or could be seen, where now thousands of feet deep you could see it. Continents, islands, and various areas all over the world, they either sank or rose several feet overnight. Some places, thousands in both directions, are what they claimed happened. Mountains sprung up and cities and islands sank, allegedly. They even found, fossilized, bones of whales and what have you, deep inside the Americas. Now, what happened and how did it go down? We don't really know. We can know a little bit, but without help from like the Vatican or some other really old library or something, we're never going to know, because our written history only has a span of around 5,000 years. Now, how is that even remotely accepted as truth at all by any of us? If you seriously wrap your head around how it's possible, with millions of billions of years that they claim we've been here due to evolution, it doesn't fit. And if it's accurate, someone deleted more than a few books and files and libraries. How about everything? Honestly, how can humans have been here? Let's give them this. Let's give them 100,000 years. But nothing lasted. Look at this population chart. There is no one on this earth. Until when? Couple hundred years ago. Imagine that. Almost 250. Little season? I don't know. All those years, only 5,000 of them are written. I say to cover the events that took place. Maybe a war or something's too bad to be remembered just gets deleted. Evidence should be left around in some way, shape, or form if we looked. Well, perhaps. Recently, when the Saginaw and Carolina craters were brought to my attention, I have to say this. I had never seen such piles of data besides diving into NASA's fake space rabbit hole with as much made-up science from thin air as you could possibly stuff into one thing, okay? Doesn't mean I know anything that hasn't been written already. I'm just saying they're not being truthful, or they just kind of made up the BS like always, because too much is going on with something to get any sort of truth out of it. Seems like that's a cover-up. Now, the bays of Antarctica. They claim that these are different. These are carbon dioxide, methane, and other greenhouse gases escaping from the permafrost. They look like the little ice pockets of air, making or leaving these oval and round holes everywhere. See, there's an answer for any perception of reality you may have. I've learned that. That's what I've noticed. I could be reading too much into it, but they'll give you what you want. And, well, that's how you find the hidden stuff. Look at different views. And with all these pictures you see, these natural craters, what do I know, right? I'm just a wanderer like you, born into this crazy clown world. Who knows? Because I actually have no idea, and they don't either. And, It's just a thought, my friends, but before I go, here are the bombing run photos of World War II over France, Germany, the ones in the 1960s in Vietnam, other various places. It makes you wonder if it's that simple, huh? I don't know. Who knows, right? I told you it seemed a little bit suspicious. Maybe it's nothing. And, well, I don't really have anything else to say about all that. I send my love to you all. I'm Wild Dog, and I am out of here.